One fine morning, my dad and I were abruptly woken up by a loud knock on the door. Dake, my uncle, suddenly appeared at my door with a terrified look, accompanied by Alina, his daughter. My company has gone bankrupt. I have to run away. Please, brother, take care of Alina for me. Please. After saying that, he immediately jumped into the car and sped off, leaving my snobby cousin Alina to stay with me and my dad. Since then, our lives have been completely turned upside down. Contrary to her father's desperateness, Alina showed complete disdain. She looked around the house and pouted. Ew. You live here? I thought it was a stable. I angrily grunted. Hey, you can sleep in the pit instead if you don't like it here. My dad quickly tried to calm me down. Come on, dear. Alina is from New York, so she's probably having a hard time adjusting to this small town. Dake has entrusted her to us. We should help them. Then, unbelievably, he asked us to share the same bedroom. I fought back so badly that Dad had to threaten. If you're stubborn, I won't lend you the pickup truck for your upcoming camping trip. Great. I guess there's no other way. I hopelessly watched as Alina calmly dragged her suitcase into my room. She even stuck her tongue to challenge me. That's it. Wartime. My hatred for Alina started ever since I was a kid. When I was 6, Dad brought me to New York to visit Uncle Dake. When Alina saw my Buzz Lightyear toy, she insisted on taking it. When I tried to pull it back, she lied on the ground and bawled her eyes out. No, I want it. I'll quit dinner if I don't have it. What the heck? Does she always beg for things this way? Because she was crying so loudly, Dad and Uncle Dake had asked me to give her my Buzz and promised to buy me a different one. I had no choice but to give away my favorite toy. However, the very next day, I saw it lying on the ground. I was extremely angry. Why did you throw him away like that? Alina picked it up. My dad just bought me a much nicer Barbie doll. She jerked its arm off and threw it at me. It's yours again. That incident had hurt me so much. And after her mother passed away, she was even more pampered by her father. What a spoiled brat. Jeez. Let's forget about her. Look, it's Mark, my neighbor who is also my crush. He came over to help my dad load the pumpkins onto his truck. I was drooling at him from afar when suddenly Alina slapped my back. Why are all the boys here so dirty? It's weird. I waved her hand away in displeasure and called the men. Dad, Mark, come in and get some juice. As soon as Mark turned around, Alina howled with excitement, her eyes glowing. Wow, who's that? He's so handsome. Give it to me. Alina grabbed the glass from my hand, straightened her hair, blinked repeatedly, and ran over to give Mark the juice. Hi, gorgeous. I'm Alina. Here's your juice. They talked cheerfully with each other for a while. When Alina came back, she winked and whispered in my ear in a mischievous voice, He'll be mine. But I like him first. Shut up, loser. He's out of your league. What the heck? From that day on, Alina did all sorts of things to get Mark's attention. She even shamelessly clung to me, constantly begging me to reveal his interests. I rolled my eyes. For what? It's not like you can do anything besides putting on makeup and scrolling through your phone. Wrong. I can fix him a delicious meal after a hard day's work. What is he like? An idea flashed in my mind, and I grinned. Grilled ribs and pâté? Alina happily did as I told her, not knowing that Mark is a vegetarian and that he's allergic to pâté. The next day, while I was harvesting fruit with Mark, Alina excitedly arrived with a plate of grilled ribs and pâté in hand. Ugh. I knew she was clumsy, but that plate was even worse than an ugly mess. As soon as he saw it, Mark almost threw up and tried to run away. Please, I can't stand that smell. Alina Alina still held the plate and ran after him. Wait, it's your favorite dish. No! The two of them ended up looking like they were playing tag while I was laughing my butt off. Unfortunately, Mark's dog smelled the meat from Alina too, so he immediately chased her and bit a piece of her skirt. It was not until Mark told the dog to stop that Alina was rescued. He said apologetically, "I'm sorry. I promise to do whatever you want to make up for this." Alina said nothing and just glared angrily at me. That afternoon, we planned to have a camping trip together. I wanted to confess to Mark as soon as possible, so I prepared a gift with a handmade card. While I was busy preparing, Alina suddenly snatched the card and read aloud my cheesy confessions. "You dirty brat. You pulled that trick on me and embarrassed me in front of him." I grabbed the card back. "I told you I liked Mark and you still tried to steal him." Alina challenged. "No one is stealing anything here. We're the hunters, and he's the prize. That's it. Fair and square. Come at me all you have. I won't lose." And the fight between me and Alina became more intense than ever. When it was time to camp, Alina also packed her bags and told Mark, "You promised me to do anything, so I want you to let me join the trip." He happily agreed, and I was beyond furious. That night, when everyone was asleep, Mark and I sat by the fire and talked. I shyly handed the gift box to Mark with my heart racing. But when he opened the box and read the card, he became angry. "Do you think this is funny?" He threw my gift away and left to my surprise. What happened? I opened my gift box and saw a piece of moldy beef and a card with the words, "I heart PETA. People eating tasty animals." Shoot! Alina must have swapped my gift box. I tried to chase after Mark and ended up catching Alina. She was also giving him a gift. What's worse? It's the hat I was going to give Mark in my gift box. I painted it with my own hands and embroidered the word Mark on it. I rushed to grab the hat. "You stole this from me!" She shamelessly shouted back. "No, I made it myself." "So, do you know what's written on the inside of the hat?" Alina looked confused and didn't say anything. I sighed. "It's the word Dino. It's Mark's nickname when he was a kid. Why do you always lie and do stupid things?" Mark gently said, "Sella, I'm sorry I got angry earlier. I just remembered that the card you gave me just now was written in purple ink and you hate purple. I've realized who wrote it." Alina bowed her head in shame and mumbled a tiny sorry to us. After that incident, Alina became quieter. No more lying and whining. Maybe she was finally reflecting on herself. And Mark, after knowing my feelings, also responded enthusiastically. We're preparing for our first date and things are going very well.
During the casting session for a play on Easter, I was assigned the role of Virgin Mary. As the outfit was handed to me, suddenly my twin sister Daisy snatched it. "Why does she play Mary and I only play a commoner? Aren't our looks the same? Stop it, Daisy, you're being ridiculous." I angrily snatched the outfit back. We quickly got into a fight and it only ended when the outfit was torn in half. Needless to say, we were kicked out of the drama team. Hi, I'm Isa. Ever since I was a child, Daisy has always competed with me in everything. It's probably because we're twins. Not only do we have to share everything with each other, we're also often compared with each other. Therefore, Daisy and I were always trying to fight and escape the shadow of the other twin. More than a week later, Easter came. Like every year, our family and a few other close friends held an egg-finding contest. Standing at the starting line, Daisy looked at me with fiery eyes. "Game on, baby! Game on!" When my dad gave the signal, everyone rushed to find the hidden eggs. In order to win against her, I searched every nook and cranny of the house. While searching an area near my house, I suddenly saw Daisy and a few other friends looking at a bird's nest. Out of curiosity, I approached them. "What's up? We want to get the eggs on the nest, but nobody can climb the tree." She's not worth it. I was leaving until Daisy spoke. Surely it's where most of the eggs are put. Why? Because every year, Dad hides tons of eggs in the most difficult place to get. He considers it as a reward for the person who worked hard to find it. Then, everyone in turn tried to climb the tree but quickly failed. After they left, I decided to try my luck. It took me a long time to climb up to that bird's nest, but I succeeded eventually. True to what Daisy said, my dad left more eggs there than anywhere else. When I climbed down, my moment of victory didn't last long when Daisy laughed. I know you'll try to get those eggs, but you won't win. Daisy snatched the eggs from the basket I placed on the ground and ran away. Before I could react, she had disappeared. After more than an hour, the egg finding contest officially ended. I placed second, and the winner was Daisy with only 3 more eggs than me. While everyone happily congratulated her, I felt extremely suspicious. Every year, Dad usually prepared 100 Easter eggs for us to find. However, after adding up the total number of eggs this year, I discovered that it had increased abnormally. Dad, have you noticed an unusual increase in the number of eggs? Oh, come on, Lisa, don't overdo it. It's just a fun occasion. Let's enjoy the holidays. Not accepting it. I quietly investigated by myself. I sneaked into her bedroom to find some clues. As expected, when I checked under her bed, I found another basket full of Easter eggs. I knew it! She prepared more eggs to cheat. I immediately brought it to Dad, but as soon as I got to the door, Daisy caught me. What are you doing? Cheater, I'll expose you. My sister panicked and stopped me. We started shouting and jostling the egg basket back and forth. The loud noise caught my parents' attention and they angrily separated us. But instead of punish Daisy for her misbehavior, they thought I was the one at fault for ruining the family's holiday. As I grew older, the competition between us became even fiercer. We argued all the time, and of course, we even fought for the student council president position. But the surprise is, our votes were equal. Since neither of us wanted to yield to the other, in the end, the principal allowed us to share that position. It was something that had never happened in our school. For Easter that year, our school would hold a charity event to raise money for the city's orphanage. Daisy and I were in charge of preparing for that event. Not only wanting to prove our abilities, we also wanted to make a good impression on Mike, the music club president, our longtime handsome crush. Therefore, the battle would be fiercer than ever. During a meeting that day, I suggested selling handmade candles and painted Easter eggs, while Daisy suggested organizing a charity auction. The members were also divided into 2 groups and argued a lot. It only ended when Mike spoke up. My uncle has an old candle factory. If we follow Isla's plan, I'll ask him to borrow it. Hearing that, everyone agreed to my plan except for Daisy. Since that day, Mike and I have become the main people in charge of the charity event. We worked together, talked more, and became closer. Life was beautiful, but not for long. One day when we went to the candle factory, we were devastated to see that all of our hard work, the candles and the Easter eggs, were brutally destroyed and lying all over the ground. Next to them were cat paw prints. It seemed that the last person to leave had forgotten to lock the door, so some feral cats came in and ruined everything. All work had gone down the drain. We dejectedly switched to Daisy's plan. She was extremely excited and immediately took the lead position from me. That afternoon, I was so bored and I went to the candle factory to clean things up. But thanks to that, I discovered something shady. There was something abnormally sticky on the candles, so I decided to smell it. I realized in horror that it was the smell of cat foot. Oh my god! The accident wasn't a coincidence. Someone smeared food on candles and eggs to lure the feral cats in. And the open door was also arranged. Who wanted me to fail? Obviously, it was Daisy. That brat gotta pay. I secretly loosened all the screws on the auction table. As soon as the auction for charity started, the table collapsed, causing all the objects on it to fall and break. The audience gasped and Daisy panicked. But very soon, she knew it was my work. You witch! It was you who broke that table! How dare you blame me when you started it first? And then we started fighting again. Only that time, the one who stopped us was Mike. Oh, stop it! You girls are so selfish. You just ruined the charity auction because of your personal affairs. Don't you care for those poor children, for God's sake? After saying that, he and everyone left angrily. I felt so ashamed that I locked myself in my room for days after that. Finally, I decided that it was time to fix my mistake. That night, I went to the candle making factory and surprisingly, Daisy had already been there. What are you doing here? Come on, peace for now. I'm trying to find a way to fix everything we've done. Really? Yeah, Mike is right. We were too selfish. And I'm sorry for being the first to start the fight and playing dirty to you. I was surprised at Daisy's words, but she was right. Time to make it right together. Daisy suggested using broken egg pieces to put together two abstract paintings. As for the broken candles, we mixed them together and made new ones. Immediately, the two of us started working tirelessly. With our best efforts, we were able to complete them just before Easter. The last thing we needed to do was to apologize to the team members, the people we had hurt. Thankfully, everyone was forgiving. Soon after, we sold all the products we made together and collected a good amount of money for charity. At the end of the day, Mike suddenly called me and asked to talk privately. I looked at Daisy nervously, but she lightly nudged my shoulder and smiled. Go with him. But don't you like Mike too? Sweetie, I was just flirting with him to mess with you. I smiled and said goodbye to my sister. From then on, my relationship with Daisy gradually got better. We've realized that everyone has their own strengths and that we don't have to compete with each other to prove our worth. We're unique and special as who we are.
I still remember what happened during my parents' divorce. In court, they constantly shouted at each other's faces. I can't live with him anymore. He's messy, snoring loudly, and unhygienic. My dad immediately replied, You think you're better, you nasty shopaholic, nagging old hag? No matter how hard my brother and I tried to convince them, our parents still broke up. They fought so fiercely that they even swore they would never breathe the same air. After that day, my family was splitted. I, Jelly, lived with Mom and my brother, Ben, lived with Dad in a nearby city. After the divorce, Mom tried to date many different men, but no one was Mr. Right. Somehow she was always betrayed, and I had to comfort her every time she cried because of a broken heart. One day while I was sleeping, I was startled by a constant knock on the door. For Christ's sake, Mom was drunk again. She reeked of alcohol, and the person who was helping her was Dad? Dad? Why are you here? Did you two go out together? He sneered. In your dream. I ran into her at the pub. A bunch of disgusting men were trying to get her drunk. Keep her chained, will you? She won't be lucky the second time. Dad left angrily, and Mom kept calling a certain guy's name in her drunken state. Oh, Peter, please don't leave me. Jeez, Mom! Wake up! You know, Dad only visited me on special occasions, so meeting him back then was a miracle. Anyway, I was relieved that thanks to him, Mom got home safely. The next morning, she had no memory of what happened last night. Dear, I'm seeing Peter, a handsome pilot on Tinder. Ugh, Tinder swindler. I sighed, rolled my eyes, and just went straight to school. In the days that followed, Mom was very strange. She laughed alone, sang all day, often dressed up to go out in the evening. I warned her. Dad said he saw a bunch of men trying to get you drunk. Was Peter in there? That's a huge red flag. Dear, I'm 25 years older than you. I can take care of myself, all right? And how can a woman live without love? But Mom, I really don't like your date this time. I'll stop you. I'm serious. One day when I came home late from a party, I was startled to see a figure jumping out of my mom's window. Terrified, I ran to her. Mom, are you okay? Someone just broke into our house. She was lying on the bed, half sleepy. I don't see anyone. You're imagining things. But when I glanced down at the floor, a man's sock was there. Did you bring a man into your room? Haha, no, I must have mistakenly gotten it at the laundromat. Huh, that's sus. One day when I got home from school, I saw a letter on my desk with some money. Dear Jelly, I'm going on a trip with my bestie Lynn for a few days. I'll be back. Don't worry. Grr! She probably ran away with that shady and dangerous Peter. I immediately called my mom but couldn't reach her. Shoot! What if she was actually kidnapped? What if she was thrown in the river? I quickly called my dad for help, but he didn't pick up either. I decided to take the train to his place to find a way to save Mom. But after nearly half a day of traveling, when I arrived at my dad's place, my brother was arriving at the same time in messy and dirty clothes. Ben, why do you look so bad? And where's Dad? He shrugged. Who knows? I had a fight with him the other day and I've left the house for 3 days. What? Never mind. Listen, Mom might be in danger. We need Dad to find a way to save her. We helplessly tried to call Dad, but his phone was out of reach. Ben saw a letter on the table and gave it to me. Looks like he's on a business trip. See this? He left a note and some money for me. Should we call the police? Are you nuts? For what? Because our mom goes on a trip with her lover boy? They'll arrest you instead, dumbass. Ben thought for a while and said, Stay here. We have no choice but to wait for them to contact first. That night we stayed awake, waiting, worried that something bad would happen. Suddenly on TV there was an announcement of a mass kidnapping. A con artist named Peter who had fooled a lot of women had escaped with a hostage, a woman in her 40s. What the police found at the scene was a red handbag. I screamed, Oh no, Peter! That's Mom's bag! I bought it for her last Christmas! Ben and I immediately ran to the police. It was true. We found a photo in her bag which was a picture of me when I was 5. I collapsed and cried. Mom was really kidnapped! The police also thought that my mom was the victim of the kidnapper. They immediately found out Peter's location and went there to rescue her. They were surrounding him in an abandoned house. Ben and I asked to go with the police. In the abandoned house, Peter was restrained. Next to him was a woman whose face was covered behind a mask. I cried and called out for Mom, but when the mask was opened, I was shocked that it was Lynn, Mom's bestie. The police successfully rescued the hostage and brought us back together. On the way home, Lynn told us everything. Peter was also flirting with me, and your mom has been seeing another man lately. She lent me her bag for my date. But Mom said she traveled with you. Where could she be? Suddenly, my brother received a call from our dad. Tonight at 8 p.m., come to the Maisonal restaurant. There's something important and I want you to be there. Where are you? Jelly and I went looking for you all day. Dad was excited. Jelly is with you. Bring her there too. We went to the Maisonal restaurant together. It was beautifully decorated there, and in the middle of the room, my parents were holding hands lovingly. I exclaimed, Are you? Dad smiled. Sorry for hiding you two. Today I'll propose to your mother again. He knelt down and pulled out his engagement ring, and of course, Mom nodded in excitement. What the hell is going on? Wait, my dad was wearing 2 different colored socks. He stammered. One of my socks got lost somewhere and I couldn't find it. Today I was in a hurry, so... He didn't have to say more. I knew where he was. The color of the other sock matches the one I found in my mom's room last time. It turned out that they had secretly dated each other for a while. Mom said, I'm a bit embarrassed. I had sworn I wouldn't be with him anymore, but I didn't expect this. He has followed and protected me ever since that time we met at the pub. Well, I fell in love with him again. Finally, our family is happily reunited. After learning about the kidnapping, Mom felt so lucky to have escaped from such a dangerous person. There's nothing more she can ask for. Dad is always there to take care of her. Life has never been better. Time to enjoy it. Time to enjoy it. Time to enjoy it.